Okay, so let's see, just a couple little things here. What I'm going to do is quickly clean up my hair. The hair should be sitting on this geo group, so I'm just going to parent it over here. And anything else, get rid of these controllers. My joints are all in place. I don't need some of this stuff in here. What's that thing? That's that sphere I made. Okay. Now we're going on to the big one. I got all my geometry. And I'm just going to double check my UVs here. And I think my hair is sitting down here. I'd probably like to move that. Just going to grab all the UVs in this area. Hit my move tool so it's up in the 0 to 1 up here. And I'm always paranoid, so I go and I look. Okay, great. I was just checking to make sure the UVs weren't overlapping with the border edge. And everything's cool. Okay. And then I'm going to take all these objects and whoop. Anything else? Oh, I've got a few bit of history issues here with the UVs. Edit, delete by type, non-deformer history. Those should go away. Okay, great. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Export Selection, and take this out as an OBJ. We can. And I'll say body to substance. Let's call this, or let's call it Greta to sub. Okay, I don't know if I did. I already got one there. Okay, great. Export selection. And now I am going to take this over to Substance Painter. And so I open up Substance Painter. I am not a Substance Painter expert. I can bumble around in here. It doesn't really take a lot here. If I go to New and create textures per Udom tile, and I'll put that PBR, great. And maybe I'll make that bigger. And I'll go here to File. It says Select, and I'll find Greta for sub. And I'm in the right spot. Yeah. Open. And I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so got her in here. And remember, if you want to navigate through here, there's, what is it? I think I already have my brushes over on the side here. I'm just going to move this back over to the other screen. Oh, you bastard. Okay. And so your Alt key navigates in here. You'll notice that if you have your texture set list, you have your different Udom show up when you have different numbers selected here. Great. I'm just going to stick with this for now. And I can come in and start to paint on these. You got layers. The layers have these little things here, so I can go in and create new layers, and you can also right-click and create masks and things like that. This is not really all about getting into substance at this point. I just want to be able to navigate and do some simple, bumbly things in here. And what else we have? Texture set listings, or texture set settings. Okay, size 2K. And down here, first thing you want to do is bake your mesh maps. And I'm going to use low poly mesh, it's high poly. There's some other tricks I could do. Output size, let's go into 2K. Anything else in here I want to do that's magical? No, I don't care. Yeah, it should be good. Okay, and you can sit here, and this is 2019, so you'll see it generating these things right before your very eyes. Okay, this should go relatively quick. I'm just wondering if I should pause this or not. 12%, 15%. Anyway, it's just going to make all these maps here that is going to help you use the smart materials. Okay? Because basically we're going to take all this stuff that we figure out. We're going to do some really fast, simple things in Substance, and then take it over to Mari, and I'll do a few other things in it. And then I'll take it back to Maya. Okay, you know what? I'm going to put this on pause because we're at 28%. Okay, so it finished all the baking, and then it says open log, or you can go and look here, and you'll see that there's all my maps. They're made down here. Great. Let's close that down. And actually, it looks like I didn't soften out the edges before I went over here. I'm not going to bother doing that right now, but if you're over here in Maya, If I had pressed 1, I probably would have noticed this one here needs the edges softened, and if I go over to modeling, mesh display, soften edge, before I exported it, that would have worked a bit better, but whatever, it's happened. So let's go back over here to Substance. So again, you can paint layers. You'll see that you've got a bunch of brushes in here, so if you go into... actually, where is it? It's right there. There's my shelf. You can see that the shelf has a bunch of materials, and if you go in and you look, there's also brushes. I've kind of got this parked over on my other monitor. Tools. If I go down here to Smart Materials, though, you'll see all these lovely little materials. Okay, and I always kind of notice that people like to just pop these on, and they don't do hardly anything to them, and that always kind of makes me irritated. You always want to take the stuff and modify it somehow, but just for the sake of going quick, let's take a look and see what we've got in here. Fabric, and there's superhero materials. Let's go and look at this one here. If I just take that, drag it, and drop it, boop. Actually, I'm wondering when I'm recording, everything slows right down here. And do we have like a denim? Boop. And we have like a leather calf. Actually, why did that take so long? Let's try it again. Drag and drop. Okay, and when I'm recording like this, everything goes super slow, it looks like. Okay, because this goes much quicker typically, and I want to do some kind of nice leather on my shoes. Although she always wears these kind of blue, old, ratty shoes. Actually, that looks horrible. Leather, fine. And that's going to overwrite the other one. Okay, and do we have any skin in here? Human skin, feverish. Let's put on the face. Does that say feverish? Yeah, it does. Skin feverish. And I'll take this and I'll drop it on here, on the arms as well. Not going to bother with the eyes, the teeth, or the tongue that I've got in here. Maybe I'll grab some kind of wood down here, and I'm going to use that for the hair. And again, you can do all this stuff with the layers and start to texture paint. You'll be quite happy with how quickly you can do these things. If you look at Algorithmic's YouTube channel, you'll find tons of tutorials that you can do this stuff really quick, get yourself up and running and playing. Okay. Now what I want to do though is, after you kind of get some of this done, is to take all this stuff and get it over to Mari. So if I go in here and I say export textures, okay, it's going to take these over here. It's got all my UTIMs set up. You can deselect certain items if you don't want those to go over. Amazon Lumberyard. Let's go to Arnold UTIM space. Okay, great. And then we'll go back here to export. PNGs, 8-bit. Okay, whatever. And where do I want this to go? It says Substance Painter export. Let's go and pick a different spot. I'm going to find some place in... Actually, my cursor isn't working very well, so let's just go here and go to the Greta project. Okay, great. And I'll put these into... I don't want to put those into images. What do I want to do? Quickly put it into data. Okay, great. Okay. And I'll hit export. Anything else I want to do in here? Just thinking. I should be okay. Export. And it's going to take a moment. I'm going to put this on pause again while it does this, because it might go slow. Okay, so it's done it. And I hit OK. Great. So it's exported those out. Now, and again, I'll come back and I'll do maybe another substance. Oh, what the hell just happened? Okay, I'll come back and do some more with Substance at a later point. Now, if I flip over to Mari, and I go and I hit New, and Untitled Project, I can call it Greta if I want to. Greta. Okay. And then I'll go in here and I'll pick the mesh, and if I go to the G drive and I go to my Maya projects and I find the Greta, And I go into scenes, and I have Greta for sub, but I can also have that for Greta for Mari. Okay, open, and I'll hit create new project. Okay, and hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay, and voila, we are in. I think I have a lot of programs open right now, and I'm recording. Come on. There we go. So now we're in here. And I've probably got like one default material on. Okay, and I can go into layers. And if I want to take that stuff that I just did in Substance over here really quickly, I'm going to go to Base and I'm going to right click. And I'm going to hit Import into New Layer. And I can go looking and I'll go to the G drive. And I'll find my Maya projects, and there's the Greta. And if I go inside of Greta and I put in data, right? And there's the base color, there's height, there's metallic, there's normal. Just do this one first, and I'll hit import all patches. And it's going to take a moment. Hopefully this will take too long, but boom. Okay, great. And it took 4 seconds. It took longer for me to read, and I just wait. And there's all the stuff from Substance. And now I can take advantage of Substance projections, right? And correct things and do whatever. Maybe I'll go into, what time are we at, 11 minutes? Maybe I'll say, you know what, these eyes were kind of a pain in the ass. Actually, I'm going to do the eyes separately. But I can go in and paint seams. I can maybe get a better face texture in here, whatever I want to do. And then I can export them out and take them back to Maya. I'm just going to pause for a second and... Okay, so I went and I fished around and I thought, you know what, I should do something really quick here while I'm looking at my little ortho UVs and put in a bit of a texture action here before I take it back to Maya. Because, like, look at this. This just doesn't look quite right. I'm just going to go into layers and I'll create a new layer on top here. Okay, hopefully this doesn't eat up too much computer. Okay, great. And with this, I'm just going to go into the image manager and let's keep this open. I'll tack that open and I'll just drag in an image like this. See, we don't need all of this, so let's just go and grab a chunk of it like that. Maybe not the best image, but whatever. And that clipped it and put it in here. And I can pop it in here. And okay, great. Also, too, while I'm dealing with this, I can maybe go into the patches, and I happen to know that's the first one I want. I'm just going to hide all these other patches on here. So all I'm dealing with is the face. And let's go and hit Shift minus, and that makes it a little bit more transparent. And of course, I think I just hit an accidental hotkey. And here, let's just put on the symmetry, and I've got, why is that slow? Like I said, I think I got too many things on at once. I was doing a lot of thinking. Looking at those deep green eyes. Okay, and I can go in and rotate my model around to try to fit with that image. And that looks pretty close. Sometimes it's easier to manipulate this thing around. Okay, great. And get the nose and the mouth kind of lined up. Do something like this, and I'll move that down, and the eye is kind of not quite there. And it shows a weakness in my modeling. Okay, great. We'll say that's good enough, though. And let's see, I've got the paint through brush on. It's moving really, really slow. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. And I'll just kind of do something like this. Why is that so slow and laggy? I don't know. And okay. What the hell have I done? It's on normal? This should project on really easily, but it's giving me something funky. And I'm on a new layer. User shader, current paint target. And for some reason when I'm painting, it's coming in. I got some kind of weird default weird brush on here. Should have that brush on. So when I paint, I gotta pause for a second while I figure out what the hell is going wrong. Okay, so I found the culprit over in painting here. For some reason I had a fractal noise mask on, and I just disabled it. I'm not sure why that was on. But, okay, let's go back and I'm going to turn on the mirroring again. I just had to troubleshoot and figure out where the problem was coming from. She looks a little green on this image, but we'll pretend this is good. Okay, great. And then I can get a hold of my slurp brush, and I'm just going to make this bigger. And slurp, I'll just kind of move some of this around. Okay, ignore the eye. Ignore it. Ignore it, I see, even though it's staring at you, kind of. And again, I could spend quite a bit of time making this all perfect. But there, the big point was I was trying to get this so I could get something like this and repaint over top of it and things like that. Okay, it looks like I missed a section here when I go back to this. And again, there's lagging all over the place. Okay, and right now it's on a paint through mode too here. Let's just get rid of this. And you can see that it's over in this window here. It's painting through, so I'm just going to go here to painting. And I think somehow it's inherited all of my settings from previous. Okay, there we go. And that's going to be good enough for now. I'm just going to hit B and I'm going to bake that. Okay, great. And let's go back here to the patches, and we'll bring it back in some patches that I'm playing around with. And I think the last one was actually the eyes. There's also things like, as I'm doing this, I can lock things. Okay, so I can't actually paint on them. So I'm doing this without masks, so then I can be on the eyeballs. And let's go into, say, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I think the UVs are on top of each other, so I don't even need the mirroring feature on, so I'm just going to turn that to no mirroring. And let's go over here, and I'm just going to open up the image manager again. And everything is going slow. Let's go, and I'm going to grab my Explorer, and I'll grab some image of an eyeball. Whoop. Okay, and that's in here. I'll double click on that to get this big image. Okay, I might have to pause for a second while it's taking its sweet... Oh, there it is. And I'm just going to click drag over top of this, and I'll go ahead and do that. And that makes it easier to kind of bring in. And maybe while I'm doing this... if I right click, I can go to display properties and I can put on my wireframe while I'm figuring this out. Okay. And we'll bring this thing in here. Okay, and just make this smaller. A bit bigger maybe. Anyway, and if I hit shift minus, I can make it so I can see through this image better. And just going in right here, I think that's kind of good. And I can go ahead and paint that right on. Okay, and it looks like the rest of the geometry is masking this out. So if I go in and did something like with this piece of geometry that I have selected, what if I went to selection, hide unselected. Oops, so I have just this eye here. So as I'm working it, and actually now that I do this, I realize that my eye is tilted to the side. Anyway, I'm just going to hit B and I'll bake that down. And I should get both at the same time. And that one's rotated around so it's upside down. Okay, wonderful. But anyway, I've gone in there and I've baked that down. I'm just going to call this good enough for now, because this is slow and it's a little bit tedious while I'm trying to record at the same time I'm doing this. So I'm going to hit OK. Great. And let's take all this stuff that I've just done. Let's go and do selection, show, show all, so everything's back. Okay, and switch to something like this so we can see the textures are back, everything's cool. And I gotta do some more work on this eye. I'll do that in a later video. But now if I go to channels, I can grab all the channels at once. I can right click and I can hit export flattened. I'll just do this one channel here. Export everything flattened. Export current channel flattened. So that'll take everything that I've done. There's my channel. My UTMs is going to data. Let's switch that. So if I go up, Greta project is going to the claw. Why? Greta, and I'm just going to park that in the source image folder because that makes sense. Base color, UTMs, okay, great. And I'm going to change this from automatic to say sRGB. And export all patches. And is it doing it? It should be thinking about it right down here. I'm going to pause this, or actually it's going pretty quick. Or so it did seem, and then it stopped right there, 69. I'm going to pause right here, and I'll come back after it's done. Of course, my cursor is stuck, and I can't go across the other screen. So we just have to live with it. It's 72. Yeah, because I think I've got ZBrush, Maya, Substance, and Mari on all at the same time I'm recording. And it's making me wonder if I've got any kind of rendering going on with Maya. Nope. Okay. And is it done? It's finished. So let's go over to Maya. And let's see, if I were to go in right now and let's grab, say, this one, and I'm going to go down to the material attributes, and there's the AI standard. Might hit a button that made this slow down or something like that. Color, and I hit this with the file texture, and I go in, go browsing, and in browsing there's all my color base. I'm going to hit open, and I'll hit 6 right here. Okay, and my first UTM did come in, but the UTMs are off. I'm just going to go here to UTM Mari, and we don't see anything. Then I have to hit generate preview. Okay, so there's the skin, and it's come in. You know, it needs more work, of course. If I were to go to the hypershade, okay, and I freaking hate that, and I hate that thing there. This is too big. Let's go in and grab the skin texture off of this. So if I go to textures, and all my textures aren't showing up very well, I'm just going to go to this file here, and I'm going to refresh the swatch. There it is. Okay, great. And I got the UTMs on this one. If I go in and let's try and make this a bit smaller so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Now it just feels like I slowed down my whole freaking mouse. Okay, whatever. Let's grab, say, the shirt, and I'll go over here to the surface, and I'm going to try to hook up this Greta texture that I have. Whoop! And if I put that onto color, all I did was middle click drag, and when I hit it, generate preview. There's the shirt. What about the hair? So the hair, if I go over here and right click, go to material attributes, and there's the hair. It's stuck with a blend right now. I can switch that up here to a AI standard surface. And then if I take this and I middle click and I drag and drop that on the color, boop, there's that color. There's that weird wood texture I just threw on it. I'd probably, actually, to be honest, I might do some work with that in ZBrush. Grab the pants, and if I right click and I go to material attributes, and of course it doesn't show up, it's right there. Middle click, color, boop, done. And the shoes, I just go like, there it is. I always don't like that weight is put to 0.8, so it desaturates your color. Middle click, put this onto color, and because all the UTMs are set up, all these things will work out hopefully quite well. Standard surface, boop, and middle click, color, and what do we got? The eyes. Take that, and if I go and I middle click onto here, manage to get both of them at the same time. Okay, I hit generate preview again. For some reason, the eyes didn't track over. I'm not sure what that's about. But what I've just done is I've navigated between Maya, Substance, Mari, and back again. And pretty much got it to work. But I've had some issues along the way. Anyway, I'm going to stop here.